Kick us off today, Rogan.
Thank you, Caroline. In Trump's first 99 days, we've seen a coordinated assault on the rule of law by radical judges. We're thwarting his agenda with an unprecedented number of national injunctions. These judges are providing more due process to violent MS-13 and Tren de Aragua illegal aliens than they did for American citizens who peacefully protested on January 6th. As Stephen Miller has highlighted, it would be utterly ridiculous to have full trials and appeals for the more than 15 million illegal aliens that came across our border under Joe Biden. Many are now calling for Trump to circumvent these radical judges and consider suspending the writ of habeas corpus solely for these illegal aliens in accordance with the terms of Article 1, Section 9 of the United States Constitution, which explicitly allows for such a measure when there is a rebellion or invasion. There's strong precedent for this action, being that it was exercised by three of our greatest presidents, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, and Democrats' favorite president of all time, FDR. All three of which are not only celebrated by historians, but are immortalized on our national currency with their faces on it. Furthermore, all three used it against American citizens, where in this instance, we would only be using it against illegal aliens. I think almost every reasonable American would agree that 15 million illegal aliens coming across our border under Joe Biden counts as an invasion, especially since many, as you highlighted, are now robbing, assaulting, raping, and killing American citizens. Historic assaults on our republic require reciprocal action from our government. Can you please let us know if and when the Trump administration is planning to suspend the writ of habeas corpus to circumvent these radical judges who are infringing on his Article 2 powers and to start shipping out illegals en masse?
I have not heard such discussions take place, but I can assure you that the president and the entire administration are certainly open to all legal and constitutional remedies to ensure we can continue with the promise of deporting illegal criminals from our nation's borders. And I also agree with the premise of your question, which doesn't happen in this room often, but I do agree with yours. It is absurd that the previous administration was allowed to allow 15 million that we know about illegal aliens into this country with very little pushback from our judicial branch. But this president is trying to simply enforce our nation's immigration laws and is facing roadblock after roadblock. So we're complying with court orders, but as Tom Homan has said every day, we're going to continue to forge ahead with this mass deportation campaign, and the president is open to all remedies to do that. Thanks for being here today, Rogan.
If I can.
Karoline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, showcased her confidence and strong leadership in delivering crucial updates on the Trump administration's policies and strategies. During today's live broadcast, she didn't just highlight the promises that President Trump has kept over his first 100 days, but also emphasized the key plans and accomplishments in the coming days. As she opened the broadcast, Karoline made it clear that the administration would continue to update the public on the significant efforts that President Trump has made to move the country forward. Leavitt has proven to be an essential figure in managing and disseminating important information to the press, particularly during politically complex times. She's well regarded for her ability to articulate and clarify issues swiftly while ensuring that the media and public receive the necessary details promptly. In today's speech, she started by stressing the importance of fulfilling President Trump's campaign promises, particularly those related to the economy and national security. She underscored that, during the first 100 days, President Trump had kept hundreds of promises to the American people, especially those regarding economic growth and safeguarding the nation. Karoline also announced that President Trump would hold a press briefing tomorrow morning to continue highlighting the administration's economic achievements, with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent scheduled to participate. This briefing is part of a broader series of media events this week aimed at shedding light on the Trump administration's progress. She also shared that on Wednesday, President Trump would host an open cabinet press conference where each cabinet member would discuss their successes and their future plans. However, one of the most significant issues that Karoline highlighted today was the Trump administration's concerted efforts to protect the southern border of the United States. Border security has always been a central focus of President Trump's campaign, and it remains a priority for his administration. Leavitt announced that later this afternoon, President Trump would sign an executive order focused on law enforcement and order, specifically targeting sanctuary cities. The first executive order will enhance law enforcement's ability to prosecute criminals and protect innocent citizens, while the second will direct the Attorney General and the Department of Homeland Security to release a list of local jurisdictions that obstruct federal immigration enforcement. Karoline further emphasized that President Trump's administration has already made significant strides in securing this southern border. She noted the reestablishment of the Remain in Mexico policy, as well as the deployment of U.S. troops to assist with border protection efforts. Leavitt also pointed out the significant reduction in the number of illegal immigrants released into the United States under President Trump's leadership, with a staggering 9 individuals being released over the first 100 days, compared to more than 184,000 illegal immigrants released during the same period last year under the Biden administration. A key point in Karoline's message was her focus on national security, particularly concerning the threats posed by drug cartels and illegal immigration-related crime. She stressed that the Trump administration is not only taking measures to protect the border, but is also aggressively tackling security threats posed by terrorist organizations and criminal gangs. President Trump has designated these criminal organizations as foreign terrorist groups and has invoked legal measures to detain and eliminate these threats from the country. Leavitt concluded her speech with a strong message about the Trump administration's commitment to national security and the economy. She reiterated that President Trump will continue to take decisive actions to safeguard the border and boost the economy, while acknowledging the tireless work of law enforcement officers. Karoline's leadership in communicating the White House's message is invaluable, playing an essential role in managing the administration's public relations and policy messaging. Her clear delivery today highlights her importance in keeping the public informed and ensuring the administration's messaging stays on track.
This is a question for Mr. Homan. Late last week, there were 3 U.S. citizen children who were removed with their mothers who were in the United States illegally. There have been a federal judge in Louisiana who was appointed by President Trump said that he was concerned that there was, quote, no meaningful process. Are you concerned that due process, at least for the U.S. citizen children, is being flouted and that the speed at which the enforcement is being done could lead to errors, as was the case in the Kilmar Alfredo Garcia case? And then also, if you could give an update on the deportation numbers under this administration and whether you're pleased with them.
First of all, I don't accept the term error in Alfredo Garcia. There was an oversight. There was a withholding order. But things have changed. The facts around the withholding order has changed. He is now a terrorist, which is the withholding order set aside. And the gang he was fearing from being removed to El Salvador no longer exists. So the facts around that case are totally different. I'll let the lawyers litigate that. But as far as the U.S. 3 USC kids, I'd said from day one that if you enter this country legally, it's a crime. If you remain in this country legally and you ignore a judge's order about deporting, if you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. The mothers made that choice. And I tell you what, if we didn't do it, the story today be Trump administration separating families again. No, we're keeping families together. So when a parent says, I want my 2-year-old baby to go with me, we made that happen. They weren't deported. We don't deport U.S. citizens. The parents made that decision, not the United States government. But I don't hear any questions about Lake and Roddy had a mother. She's never going to see her child again. Rachel Morin, she had 5 children. Those children are never going to see their mom again. This administration is doing the right thing. Every public safety threat we arrest from this country and remove them, this country is much safer. So parents will make a decision what happens to their child. Having a U.S. citizen child does not make you immune from our laws. If that's the message we send the entire world, enter the country legally. It's a crime. Don't worry about it. Get order removed by an immigration judge. Don't worry about it. No one's looking for you. And have a U.S. citizen child, and you're immune from our laws, you're never going to fix the border. People will keep putting themselves in harm's way. More women would die. More children would die crossing this border. We got a secure border by enforcing our laws. We're not making this up. We're enforcing laws under statute enacted by Congress, and it's the right thing to do.
Tom Homan, the former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE), has been a central figure in Trump's immigration policies. His role has shaped the narrative on border security and law enforcement's immigration approach. Homan reflected on the administration's immigration strategy, highlighting its historic strides in securing the southern border. With over 30 years in law enforcement, Homan is a staunch advocate for border security, emphasizing the need for strong laws. He served under 6 presidents, beginning with Reagan. Homan emphasized that a secure border is directly tied to national security, as it's essential to know who is entering the country. Homan criticized the Biden administration's open border policies, claiming they've increased crime, including violent gangs and human trafficking. He praised Trump's administration for reversing these policies, especially the reestablishment of Remain in Mexico, which requires asylum seekers to stay in Mexico while awaiting hearings. He highlighted the success of the border wall and border security infrastructure in reducing illegal immigration and criminal activities. Homan also supported the Trump administration's stance on sanctuary cities, advocating for action against cities obstructing federal immigration enforcement. Homan's unwavering commitment to upholding immigration laws shows his dedication to protecting American citizens. His stance on strict border security remains aligned with Trump's broader national security goals. Despite controversy, Homan's influence on immigration policy remains significant. His views on border enforcement continue to shape the national debate, positioning him as a key figure in discussions of immigration reform and border security.